Talking to people can be intimidating. It can be paralyzing to the point that you never get around to doing it because you just don't feel equipped. Especially in a situation where you feel like it's a service you don't know everything about. What tends to happen is we feel we have to dive in and learn about the service. We have to dive in and become an expert. And this really comes down to the fact that we don't want to risk our credibility, and we're paralyzed by the what ifs. What if they ask me a question I don't know the answer to? What if they bring up this? What if they bring up that? Well, when you have an existing relationship with someone, even if you become an expert, the problem is, let's say that your relationship, your reputation, what they know you is in a certain profession. Like I'll use Ryan the Realtor. So what do they know about me as Ryan the Realtor? Well, they know that I know and understand market trends. They know that I know and understand networking, and I'm well connected in the area. I have great contacts in the lending industry, all these different things. That's what they trust me on. So if I come along as Ryan the Realtor and lean in and say, hey, let me tell you about Bitcoin, or let me tell you about this, or let me tell you about that. The problem is, no matter how great it is, it's going to come across as outside of the area they know me as. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to offset that responsibility on someone else. And that someone else is me, it's us. And the way you do that is by saying, we have a division that, or I know someone that, I have a buddy that does this, okay? And you can see where this is different, because what you're doing is you're leaning into the relationship you have with them. You're saying, hey, Mike, how's that property going that I put you in last year? Or how's that retirement? How's that, whatever your relationship is, and you're leaning into that. And instead of saying, you know, I've been taking night courses lately and I'm learning about specialized tax incentives, it's not going to fly. Instead, what you need to do is offset that responsibility to someone else by saying, again, we have a division that, or I got a buddy that, this kid my kid plays soccer with, that, whatever the case is, offset that responsibility. So what that looks like is saying you're leaning into, how's your property doing? How's this? How you're reminding them of your relationship, and then you're saying, hey, listen, because I work with so many business clients, or because I work with so many restaurants, because I work with so many manufacturers, whatever the case is, we've added a specialized tax division. Or if they know you as a solopreneur, they know you haven't added a division, so you can say, I have a buddy that. So you can say, because I work with so many restaurant owners such as yourself, I've actually teamed it up with a buddy of mine that helps restaurants find tax credits, okay? So let's take a look at what that looks like. Hey Kendra, how are you?
Good. It's so good to see you again.
Absolutely. How are you enjoying the lake? I mean, I would kill for that.
You know, it was such a great suggestion that you had, like, to go in as a family group and get it. I think it's one of the best things we've ever done for all the kids and all the cousins and everything. So thank you so much for thinking about us.
That's good. I got to ask, the bonus room, there was the debate between you and your husband. Did it turn into a theater room, or
it turned into a theater room? We got what we wanted. The kids did not get what they wanted. He got what he wanted. So yeah,
that's good. That's good. So how about on the business front? I've been seeing, your parking lot's full. Hopefully things are back to normal.
A new normal, I guess. But yeah, we're doing okay. Scary couple years, but I think we're doing just about as good as everybody else is right now. So
yeah. Did you guys take PPP?
We did, and it really, it literally was a lifesaver there for a minute. And it would be
the same thing I hear over and over.
Yeah, it was so easy to do, and honestly, it would be really nice if they decided to just give us that money more, give us some more. But yeah, we took advantage of it. I think, everybody I talked to did. So
yeah, that's kind of what we saw. I think PPP, people got into it because they could get it from their local bank. They got it from their credit union, their banker. There wasn't a lot of work involved, but it was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Or a two-time thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so as part of that, we've actually, much like you guys, we've been looking for ways to diversify, serve our client base better, and things like that. And because we have such a large base of our clients are actually business owners also. We've added a specialized tax division. So we added a new arm to the company. A lot of business owners and individuals like yourself, they're trying to free up cash flow.
Yeah.
In the lending arm, don't even get me started right now.
It's insane. I don't even want to go down that road right now.
So people they need capital, but they don't really want to borrow, and PPP is gone.
Yeah.
What we did find, though, is that even though PPP is gone, and same thing, ERC didn't get renewed, there are $2.3 trillion in other programs that the federal government's made available.
Really?
Yeah, so it's something that we've been working with our existing client base first with, and then we're actually rolling it out to all of Southeast Michigan.
I didn't know about that. I mean, that's
year.
interesting to hear about.
Yeah. We've built a calculator that goes out and it searches over 100 local, state, and federal programs. Now, the good news is many of them are for manufacturers.
That's good.
And the other good news is these programs, unlike PPP, some of them have been around for 4 and 5 decades.
Really?
Yeah, and they're permanent.
Okay.
So, I guess the last thing I'll tell you about it is because they've been around for a long time, understand that usually it's been like the upper echelon of companies that have taken it.
Yeah, I mean, now that you're talking about it, I mean, when you emailed me and said you wanted to meet, it was intriguing because I was like, I don't know about any of this, but I think like stuff is popping up that I've heard about over the years, especially with some of our manufacturing groups and stuff like that. So, but I always felt like I'm too small. We're just a local manufacturer. I don't know that I have the resources to be able to do something like that.
That's why most companies haven't over the last few decades, is because it can cost more to get the credit than the credit's worth.
That's like that WOTC thing.
Exactly.
I didn't have the staff to do all the paperwork, and then they would just cancel it anyway. We tried it a couple years ago. It was just a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly. So we've kind of made it easy because our client base, you are our client base. It's families that own a business or own a family business, and it's small and mid-sized companies. But we just started looking at it and we say, man, out of this $2.3 trillion, why should only the Walmarts and the big hospitals and everybody else get the money? You're the one we saw with PPP. You're the one that kept people employed. You're the one that kept things going.
We did.
Well, what I'd like to do, let's take a look.
Is this that thing you were talking about?
Yeah, this is our calculator. And so I just have a few questions for you. So between both of your plants, how many employees do you have?
I mean, right now we're a little low, but I think like 120 is about our average.
Okay.
Yeah, 120.
Now, how many people do you hire per year? And when I say hire, I don't mean new job growth. I'm talking about like even for replacement or anything.
Just in the shop part, or
no, altogether.
Probably I would say about 20.
Okay, well that's good because there's actually, much like PPP, there's money available just for having staff, like the 120 you talked about. There's also money available potentially like every time you hire someone, even when you're replacing someone old.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, part of this is based on your annual payroll, much like PPP. You remember, like, whatever your annual payroll was?
Yeah, they had to they based everything off of what the annual was. And I know that number by heart. Ours right now is 4.3 million.
Okay. Now, did you take the ERC tax credit?
No, because we took PPP.
Oh,
so we weren't allowed to, right?
Well, that's what most people think. And, and that was true for like 6-7 months. And there's a lot of confusion about it in the news, things like that. But actually, over time, they changed that. And you can actually take PPP and ERC together.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It does reduce the amount of ERC you can get.
Well, that makes sense. But
yeah, because
I just thought because I took the other one, because initially they said, yeah, you can't get both. So I just took the easy one. But that's interesting.
My last question then is, so I know you guys own this factory, because I remember you saying that. Do you own the West Branch one?
Yeah, we own both of them. So this one, we got this one through your guys' commercial side.
Okay. What year was that?
2011. Yeah.
Okay. And I know you did a renovation when you guys got here. How much was the renovation? I'm sorry. Between the purchase and the renovation.
I was going to say, I don't know how to break it out because it was like a lump sum. I think it was total all in when we were said and done was $3.4 million.
Okay.
And then West Branch, you own that or you rent it?
We own it. We didn't get that one through you guys. Sorry.
I see how it is.
It was because it was up there. 2014.
Okay.
And that one, we didn't do any reno. We just bought it flat out, and it was like 2.7.
Okay. Now, favorite part of my job. So what this is going to do when you click this green button is it is going to go out there and it's going to search over 100 local, state, and federal programs just with that.
So this is the magic?
This is the magic.
All right, and
so
you're going to make me do it. Okay.
I'm going to make you do it. That way if you break it, oh, look at that.
Wow. That's
$3.7 million.
That's a high number. I mean, I think you know your stuff and everything. We worked together a long time. I trust you. That's a really high number. I have to be a little skeptical.
Let me break down
that.
and show you some of these programs. So for starters, because you're a manufacturer, there's this program called the R&D tax credit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I didn't think I was big enough.
Well, that's the difference, is so because we've developed software. Now, what I want to tell you real quick about the R&D tax credit. So that's your benefit amount per year.
Wow.
And I said per year because we're going to go out there and we're going to get you this benefit every single year. And you can see that across all of these. Now, the way this works, this is our tax management system. That's what you're seeing a picture of there. I want you to think of this like QuickBooks for tax incentives.
Okay.
So
like it's a system?
It's a system. It's software. And in the same way with QuickBooks, you probably don't ever touch QuickBooks
Not anymore. Nope.
Nope. You have staff to do that.
I do.
So staff go about their normal course of business. And what I mean by that is they go through and they send invoices. They take payments. They, staff punches in and out. They log, their hours and things like that. And in the background, it goes through and it calculates your payroll liabilities and
all
taxes
the stuff the
and all that
CPA
kind of
needs, everything.
Exactly. So this does the same thing. This is an HR platform that when you hire people, you got to store their resume somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And you got to log, some information about them.
A lot of information, yeah.
Well, you do it in here instead of Google Docs or wherever you're probably loading it now.
I think it's all manual right now, to be honest.
So you enter it all in there in the same way your staff normally would, but the difference is with each interaction you have, our system goes and it searches hundreds of local, state, and federal tax incentives. So here's the good news. This 3.7 million, that's just right now. We're actually going to keep going. So the person that you hire later this month or later this year or next year, we're going to keep getting you money. In fact, this WOTC one right here, that's every quarter.
Right, because you
not that benefit every quarter,
but whatever.
You'll get benefit every quarter. The R&D tax credit it's going to be more the first time we do it, but after that, you'll get it every single year. This commercial property benefit, I won't bore you with the details. It's called cost segregation, but I just call it commercial property benefit. Now, you mentioned you guys have an expansion coming up. So as an example, every dime you spend towards that expansion, the government wants to reward you for that.
So that would tie in with this.
That would tie in for that. And these programs all get renewed every single year. So we're going to be able to keep working with you year after year after year.
So let me get it straight. This is a system kind of like my QuickBooks is, and my employees use it.
Just cheaper per month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we add stuff in, and as we add stuff in, it's going to continue to calculate and stuff like that. Now you said obviously there's probably a fee because you said
So it depends on the size of your company. In your guys' case, it's right here. It's $9 per month.
I mean,
now
you don't want to know what I pay for QuickBooks.
I don't want to know. I imagine you paid more for that than that Starbucks over on the table there, or close to. So for you, it's $9 a month, and what that covers is, for some of these credits, we have to actually print stuff out when you hire. We put stamps on it, send it off. You're just helping with some of the expense of that and the expense of the system. Now, where we both really win, we're not in business for $9 a month. It's right here. So let's take WOTC, for example. So every time you hire someone new, we're going to go out and you may get up to $2,400 or up to $9,600 for that new employee.
Okay.
And you can see here, we take 15% for that tax credit.
And then I keep the rest.
You keep the
so
other
it's like
85.
a finder's fee or processing fee type
got
thing.
it.
I've tried it. I can't do it. So if you say your system works that way and it's something that it can do.
Well, if we don't find anything, then you're out $9.
Right.
So,
I think that's, I'm not, $9 isn't anything for me to spend to see how this works out for us.
So the way you'll do this is you're going to create a unique username and password, just like you would with QuickBooks. And that's going to be your owner username and password. And then on the first screen, you're going to assign some new people, like a manager or the other people you want actually.
And then you guys take care of that. You like show them how to use the system or whatever. Okay.
They get a training onboarding if they choose, or a lot of people just like to watch a video.
Step by step type thing. Okay.
Type thing. They're going to love the system, but more importantly, you're going to love how it works. So,
I mean, yeah, I want to see more. So I'm okay. What do I do? Just fill this out right here?
Just go ahead and pick a username and password. And, I want to tell you, that's it. For an existing contact, I'm not reading your comments on purpose. I'll come back to that in a few. But for an existing contact, Kendra, this is it. Like, nobody says no. In fact, even when we do this on a web process, when you're not there, we have over a 40% close rate. Because who would say no to this? And when you combine that with an existing relationship, Kendra, like, again, no one's going anywhere, on this process. So we're going to answer your questions here soon, but that is an existing contact and what you can hope for and kind of see what that's going to look like.
And now we're going to take a quick look at a video from Ryan about the people that you don't know. And again, keep in mind, keep those questions rolling in because that's what's going to give us the feedback that we need. Let's take a look.
Let's talk about approaching someone that you don't have a relationship with. So in other words, they don't know you as Ryan the realtor, Ryan the financial service provider, or whatever the case is. And so you get to invent your identity, so to speak. Not invent, but you get to embrace the parts of it you want to. Well, what I would say is that you can feel tempted to build yourself up and position yourself as an expert in specialized tax incentives. I wouldn't do that because you're never going to be able to study and train enough to be at the level of the subject matter experts that we have here. And so, what I would do is position yourself as a professional as close to your lifelong industry as you can. Okay, so if that's consulting or legal work, financial services, real estate, accounting, whatever the case is, lean into that, but add into the division that you've added. And so the main difference here is that, again, if you position yourself as the expert and that's what you do, then you could get asked a question you don't know the answer to. If you position yourself as a consultant or as a service professional or whatever the case is that has a division like this, you always have that out where you can say, well, let's cover that on our call or whatever the case is. And you don't have to feel like you have to know every aspect of the tax code. That's what we're here for. So what that looks like is, I think, first educating people that there are programs for their industries, okay? And, in other words, leaning into the fact that I'm Ryan, we do these services, and part of what we do is we work with restaurants in Southeast Michigan to identify tax incentives, or something like that. And so you're positioning yourself mainly in your primary field, but you're adding in that part of what your company does is identify specialized tax incentives for insert their industry. Let's take a look at what that would look like.
All right. So I think Heather's internet is kind of frozen. So she's working from a different location today. Heather, can you, I guess, give me a quick thumbs up or something if you can hear us okay? Sorry about that. Or give us a shout in the comments if you can hear okay. I don't want anybody to miss that.
Looks like we're good.
Looks like we're good. Okay. Then I'm going to take us off screen, bring us back so I get a nice clean start for recording purposes. Hi, Kendra, is it?
Yeah. You said Ryan, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
you, Ryan. I'm good. I don't want to be rude, but your email and everything, I did want to talk to you. It was interesting, but I literally have a hard stop in like 25 minutes. So
Okay.
I just want to make sure we stay on track. Like I don't have
Yeah.
time to talk about a lot of
You don't
stuff.
want to chit chat. You don't want to know how many. You don't want me to ask how your kid's game went. Or
Not
anything
really.
Like that? Okay, no problem. I get it. How about this? I'll fly through and you slow me down.
I'll stop you when I have a question.
Sounds good. I noticed though when I was coming in, I was looking at your showcase out there, all the parts you make. I didn't know. So you guys make the part of the headrest for Toyota.
Right. Yeah. We've done that. Gosh, for like 15, 16 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this the main facility that you do that at?
Yeah. We have one part that we do at our other place, but yeah,
okay.
we put everything together here. So
Nice, nice. How many employees do you have all in?
between the two, about 120.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So not too big. It's
Yeah.
a small manufacturing
Did
company.
you get a chance to read my email? I can skip the pitch.
I
if you
did, but and the reason, like honestly, I don't do this. I don't let people
Yeah.
come in and talk to me. But some friends of mine were talking about some stuff, and your email intrigued me, and I
Yeah.
figured I'd give you a quick chance. But like I said,
I get it. So we work with manufacturing companies, and I work specifically here with manufacturers in Southeast Michigan. And for the last 23 years, we've been identifying tax credits for manufacturing companies like yourself.
okay,
We kind of got put on the main stage a little bit with PPP. I'm sure you guys, did you take PPP?
yeah, for sure, it was easy.
It was nice, right?
Yeah, made a big difference in being able to keep everybody employed and everything. So.
Yeah. Well, my job's gotten easier since then because people got like a taste of getting a tax credit
Right.
and what that would look like, or a government program, I guess. And so, before that, I used to have to convince people that programs like that existed.
I get that because I'm
Yeah.
skeptical. Like I want to see what you have.
Yeah.
You said that like a couple things that intrigued me, but I'm super skeptical. I'm gonna
I
be
get it.
honest with you. I've been
Well,
burned in the past, and
Unlike PPP, most of the programs that I work with have been around for 3, 4, 5 decades, and
Okay.
they're all permanent. We don't deal in things that are temporary or fly by night or things like that. Because again, I mentioned that we've been doing this for 23 years. We've gotten clients $37 billion in identified credits, and
Wow.
we have 0 IRS disallowances.
okay. Well, I mean,
So to get, you asked for straight to the
and
point.
you said
so,
like 20 years or something.
23 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we have is we have software that goes out there and searches hundreds of local, state, and federal programs. And so rather than me tell you in theory what kinds of programs are available, the better thing for me to do is just talk about you. Now you're a manufacturer and you mentioned about 120 employees.
Right.
Now, that's good because every employee that you have, much like PPP, the more employees you have, the more credits you can get.
Yeah.
So the same is true every time you hire someone. Now, when I say hire someone, that could be job growth, new positions to your company, or it could be turnover. It doesn't really matter. What I'm talking about is somebody comes in and they fill out a new W-2 and hire in. How many people per year between all your locations are you hiring?
I would say about 20.
Okay. And so in that, how much is your annual payroll?
I wanna ask you a question because I
Okay.
feel like you're asking me questions like how, like who gets this information? Like are you gonna sell my information? Are people calling me
first
left
of all,
and right?
I mean,
What's
you can
the
see the questions, and I understand that. Two things I want to say. One is this is all going. I'm not writing anything down. This is going in our tax management software, so it can.
So this is your guys'
search.
software
Yes,
system right
this is
here.
ours.
Okay.
But the other part I want to say, you can see the questions here. It's nothing that we couldn't just pull up on Info USA.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Manta. So I mean, what this is really used for is to show you, what you would qualify for.
Like
And
on a
again,
basic level, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can use round numbers.
Okay.
Including, the officers, the owners, everybody.
Oh, I know our annual payroll by
Okay.
heart. Like I don't have a question. It's 4.3 million. Like
Okay.
I've been.
And then did you guys take ERC?
No, because we did PPP.
Okay.
Like you couldn't do both of them, right?
Well, actually, that was true for like 7 months. And then you could take both. They changed
Really?
it. Yeah.
See, I had a guy who told me I couldn't do it.
Most people do.
Yeah.
It's, it
was a friend of a friend. I shouldn't have listened to him.
No, listen, there was so much misinformation out there. And that's why I say again, work with someone who this is what they do.
Right.
Right. And so that's all our tax division does. My last question, because you're in a hurry. Do you own this facility?
Yep. We own this one and one other one.
One other. Okay. So 2 total. This one right here, I'm going to fly through this. What year did you guys purchase it?
This one was 2011.
Okay. And so that's good. Because you purchased it, there's a tax incentive for that. And the more you spend, the more credit you're going to get. So between buying it, your initial renovation, things like that.
Okay, because like when we bought it, we did a significant reno, and I know the total price. I don't know the separate. Like the total was $3.4 million.
Okay.
Between the reno and the purchase.
And what about the other location you mentioned? What year did you purchase that?
That was not far away. That was in 2014. Okay. And we paid less for that one. That one was $2.7 million.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you do the honors. And
you're smart. So this is going to give me like a number or something?
This is going to go ahead and click calculate. Okay, so $3.7 million in programs.
I'm honest, I'm really skeptical. That's a lot of money, Ryan.
How long did it take you to get over the skepticism of PPP?
I mean, the check came.
Exactly.
So
here's the thing. I'm not too worried about it. Let me go over these programs with you.
Okay.
I think some of them you've probably heard of. The first one I want to reference here is WOTC, WOTC.
Yeah, I know about that. It's hard though. Like all my business owner friends are like, don't even bother because it's just really hard.
If you're doing paper by hand, submitting it in, that kind of thing. So we have, and you see a picture of it here, the tax management system. The way I want you to think of this is like QuickBooks for tax incentives. So you as an owner, you probably don't spend much time in QuickBooks these days.
Not anymore. No,
okay.
Thank God.
We have staff that do.
Yeah.
Okay, so in your staff's normal course of business, they send invoices, they clock in and out,
right.
They take payments, they do all that. And in the back end, while they're doing the normal business they do, you're calculating payroll liabilities, you're calculating your taxes,
right.
You're calculating your deductions, all these things. This does the same thing. In the normal course of business, you probably have to upload a resume, take a W-2, fill out I-9 paperwork, all these things. Okay, and you have to put those somewhere.
Yeah, we've tried systems before. It's crazy.
Well, the good news is about our system, when you're doing your normal course of business within our system, not you, but your staff, then in the background, every single interaction, we're going to go and we're going to look for hundreds of local, state, and federal tax incentives. So if the person you're hiring, if their address matches to a national database, it happens to be part of a HUD zone, you get money. If they were previously unemployed for a period of time, and maybe they lied on their resume about it, didn't tell you, and then what you're doing is you're bringing someone and there's workforce improvement credits. So things like that, we're going to go through, and our software is going to detect every single time that you hire someone.
Okay.
Now, that's not just for the future. We're going to go back in time on your people, your human asset, and we're going to look at the last 3 years, and we're going to get you tax incentives on everybody, not just that works for you right now, but has ever worked for the last 3 years.
I didn't even know that was something you guys could do. Anybody could do.
Well, and on the property, the commercial property, the real property that we're going to look at, we can actually go back up to 20 years. So any expenditure you had, okay, purchasing of the building, those renovations you did, those things like that, there's tax incentives for it. And there's actually different tax incentives each year. So maybe in 2014, there was a larger tax credit for anybody that bought a manufacturing company and employed at least X number of people. That's my job.
So let me get this straight. You guys made this software.
Yep.
And instead of me or my people having to do all that work, like as long as we use it.
I understand. You couldn't do that work.
Yeah.
A CPA couldn't do that work. This is a software
But your system
job.
does it, and it's like QuickBooks. Like I pay for it every month, and it processes, and like I just keep using it.
Yeah, it's just much less than QuickBooks. It's based on how many employees and how big your credit is and things. In your case, it's $9 a month. And what that does is that covers the cost of the HR platform. Also, we have to physically send, stuff in from time to time and things like that.
$9 a month, as long as it's a secure system, I'm paying for it to be secure. So that's nothing. I just wanted to understand like how that all works. So like I get my own account and
You
then
do. This is your account. It's your tax management system. Now, the real way that you make money, I make money, is right here. So you can see here for WOTC, I'll use it as an example. So you could get anywhere from nothing to $2,400 to $9,600 for each person you bring in. And that's a quarter. We process those every quarter. So it's quarterly money. The R&D credit is annual money. But for WOTC, as an example, let's say we get you $2,400 because you hired someone. You would keep 85% of that, and we would get 15%.
like a finder's fee,
Yeah, like
type.
a processing fee. For
I
us
mean,
going
that
through
makes
and doing
sense.
that.
That's not something. I mean, I work with lots of different
Yeah.
things that work that way. So I don't like. I feel honestly, I'm still skeptical, and I want to
fine.
talk more maybe later. But I feel like you know what you're talking about because
Yeah.
I talked to somebody before you came in to see if you know what you were talking about. But you sound legit, and for $9, I don't mind moving forward and seeing what this can do for us.
Well, the next step is much like QuickBooks, you're going to create a master account. That's going to be your username and password. And then much like QuickBooks, as soon as you're in, you're going to assign maybe a manager, maybe an HR manager, maybe a couple of managers. You can have users. And for that $9, we actually don't charge by the user. So
I was just going to ask because all my other systems do.
exactly. No, we don't. Listen here, at the end of the day, I don't mean to, it's not about the $9.
No.
It's about going
Yeah.
in and having.
I mean, if you can
identify
deliver on even
credits.
one of these, then I think it's
If we
worth
get you one
looking at.
$2,400 credit every 10 years,
Yeah.
then the system's more than paying for itself. So
Yeah, I think I'm in. I want to move forward with it.
So pick your username and password. And folks, that is that's how it works. And I know you might think, oh, Kendra's just being easy on you or whatever the case is. But no, listen, why would someone have difficulty with this? Kendra, talk about, I mean, they're used to subscriptions.
Right. And the way that we approach it, it's I feel like maybe some partners don't understand how to transition into the fact that it's a system that you use. And so therefore they get to that part, they kind of fumble and they don't really know how to handle it. If you transition the way that Ryan did, it's natural and it makes sense. Otherwise, how in the world are we doing all this work for them and working within their organization to make sure that we can collect these tax incentives and credits for them? There has to be some way that we're able to deliver on that. And the way that we're able to deliver on that is the TMS system. Yeah. And I guarantee you, the only times that I've really seen an issue with any client having an issue with the monthly fee is when you guys make it an issue. And I don't mean to like just put it on you. Don't make it an issue. Yeah. Like most SaaS systems are $59 a month and higher. That's like the baseline. Ours is $9 so that we can actually pay to have it out there. Like that's what that covers. We're not making money on that.
No.
And if you had presented that to someone and there was no fee, but it's a system, it raises a red flag.
That's it right there. Before we started charging a fee, we would let people come in, use our system. And I want to tell you, our doc upload rate was in the single digits. In other words, someone comes in, and we did this for years and years. I'm talking 15 years ago. And people would come in and we'd say, hey, we're going to find you the R&D tax credit. Just upload your tax returns. Nothing. You know what happens? When you charge $9 and someone's in there, our upload rate on documents is, on at least one of the services is close to 100%. And Kendra, that's because when someone pays for something, it has value. So to me, would I rather bring on, some people say, hey, what if you got rid of the $9? You could bring in unlimited people. Right. And then my staff could chase unlimited ghost. Okay. I would rather know that we have real clients, because if they're not willing to pay $9, then are they going to be willing to pay us $250,000 our cut on their tax credit?
No.
No, they're not, because they're not vested at all. So